I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And I've eaten it hunting. I've actually had it served by my mom at the table away from hunting. And I have eaten raccoon. And yes, it's not uncommon at all. I'll tell you something that is one of my favorites is squirrel. And it's wonderful, and my mother could do a great job of it. And we all had our favorite pieces, and my dad and sister, I have one sibling, a sister, and they would fight over, not fight, but my mom and I, they were just, my sister and I as four siblings, my mom and I wouldn't even ask for the brain in a squirrel.
Oh, man.
And delicious, seriously.
Delicious.
My dad loves cow
My
brain.
sister always got it, or my dad.
The fight over the brain. Jerry.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. What's up, Joe Boo? As well as the Funky Chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It is Thirsty Thursday. Don't forget, fellas, tomorrow, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's Valentine's Day. Take care of the ladies. Do not forget, take care of the ladies, because tomorrow is their day, okay? We are just the guy living in their world. Get her some flowers, make her or take her out to dinner, or make her a nice meal, get some chocolates and stuff like that. You know, take care of your woman, or else you're going to be in for some shit, okay? So we're here, speaking of some shit, with the Dallas Cowboys, where we are. We're less than a month away from free agency. We've got Micah Parsons, who, Jerry Jones, when we were dealing with the end of the season, and when people were asking him about, Mike McCarthy, is he going to be able to interview with other teams and things like that? Jerry Jones said, I want people who want to be here. Okay. Well, Micah Parsons, who said, I'm a Cowboy for life. Although if I don't get a ring by 30, Kansas City, I might call you. Although their dynasty might be over. But be that as it may, he's put them on notice that, hey, I want to get my deal done. Don't have to be the highest paid. And let's get some money so we can try and get some other people. Let's try and see if we can get Myles Garrett. We've heard him basically saying, let's team up so we can knock off the Eagles, and so on. So he's a person who definitely wants to be here. Now, we heard this morning, it's actually uploading right now, that Trevor Lawrence, that the Pittsburgh Steelers have made contact with Jacksonville about a trade for Trevor Lawrence, and apparently are offering a first and a second for him. The problem I see with that is I don't think it's enough compensation, especially since the Jags would end up eating, $100 million. Be that as it may, we have TMZ, which was really made by Zeke Elliott and following the Cowboys there a few years ago. But TMZ got Michael Irvin down at the Super Bowl, somewhere in the streets here, and was asking him about Brian Schottenheimer. And the way the headlines go, I'm not sure that the headlines really hit the venom that they were trying to portray. Excuse me, I might have said that wrong. I don't know that it was necessarily as bad as it sounded by the headlines, but Michael Irvin basically saying that, Brian Schottenheimer doesn't have much of a chance, and if they won the Super Bowl, it was because God intervened. Let's listen to it and hope that TMZ doesn't copyright me here for it. But listen.
Schottenheimer going to change the Cowboys franchise. They got the Mike McCarthy era is over.
Right, and the new era is here. Now, there are great odds against Brian Schottenheimer turning around the Cowboys in a great way. But now that the hire is made, what I do is buy in and try to find that hope And then you start thinking on a deeper level. Maybe God is doing something.
Okay, so when you first, so this is what I tell you is, listen to things in their entirety. Listen to the things in their entirety, because if you take, the headlines, Michael Irvin, destroys Brian Schottenheimer. Listen to the whole thing, because, he's saying, well, we're buying in and so on. Now he goes to church.
That our legal minds can't really consume.
All right.
So maybe what he's doing now is taking the least lightly to do the most greatest.
I love the
So
optimism.
then you'll know it was nothing but God. See, if he takes somebody great and then produce somebody great, you'll say the man did. But when he takes a Brian Schottenheimer, the least lightly of them all, and then he gives him that position and he does something great, you yourself will say, it must have been God. But you damn well know it was Brian Schottenheimer. I'm giving y'all free sermons. I'm gonna stop.
Then again, maybe it did kind of trash him.
Is it time to move on from Dak?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Wow. Wow. Faith. The faith.
Y'all, see, that's talk of haters that want to keep some spinning mess going when you got all of these teams out here fighting for their very, very important position. And you have a guy like Dak Prescott, who was the second in MVP voting last year when he was healthy. Talking about his retirement.
Hall of Fame.
Stop.
Hall of Fame.
Stop. I only have so much brain equity. Can't put it on dumb shit. That's dumb shit.
Miles
I'm trying
Lane.
to put it on focus on work, focus on family,
Yeah.
and leave something to have fun.
Yeah.
I can't put it on dumb shit.
Hey, Miles
Now,
Garrett. Miles Garrett.
Brain equity on the fun part. Miles Garrett.
Do they need to trade for Miles Garrett?
Michael, why are the Eagles?
There you go. So, do we take this as he was trashing Brian Schottenheimer, or that he doesn't believe in Brian? I don't know. You take it however you want to take it. But he did say, moving on from Dak, that's dumb shit. Dumb shit. Yeah, well, take it however you want to take it. He's like, you got the quarterback. If it ends up being great, because he's taking somebody who's least likely, I don't think I'm gonna be honest with you now. I don't believe that he's the least likely. I think he's about as likely as anybody else that's been hired in the cycle. I honestly believe that. You can call me crazy Joe, but Aaron Glenn, how much experience does he have? He was coaching on a great team, right? Ben Johnson, again, coaching on a loaded, great team. Was it because of them or because of what they had built with the front office and the head coach? Mike Vrabel, is he great? We'll find out. Kellen Moore, when he goes to New Orleans and he doesn't have all the things that he had in Philadelphia, and if he can be the leader of men, I still say Brian Schottenheimer has been around enough, knows this team well enough that he can at least hit the ground running. Anybody else you brought in here has got to start from scratch, getting to know the players and so on, and trying to weed the system out. But in the end, all this is still going to go back to what the Joneses do. If they don't do anything, like they usually don't, then we can't expect them to win a Super Bowl to compete against, a team of goons like the Philadelphia Eagles that have been literally spending twice the amount of money in free agency to plug every single hole they have. Make no mistake about it. The Eagles are built well, and it hurts me to say that. I can't say that about the Cowboys. We got to work on the trenches. We got to get playmakers. There's a lot we need to do. Now, it is that time of year now where we get all the rumors of, things the Cowboys need to do on a daily basis, okay? So Mike Tenenbaum, of course, says, T. Higgins. I think yesterday, wasn't it DeAndre Hopkins? Okay. Let's go to the tape on this before we get out of here.
Let's give him another weapon. We'll see what that offense can do. And what do you like about this one?
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys signed T. Higgins. What a stat from Hembo here. The best year, arguably, in Dak Prescott's career is when he had Amari Cooper as the number 2, 37 touchdown passes in 2021. Everyone is taking C.D. Lamb away. Boy, if you could bookend him with T. Higgins, that changes the entire complexion of this offense.
There are going to be so many suitors.
He ain't lying.
T. Higgins, and Dallas should absolutely be one of those, especially like you said a moment ago, C.D. Lamb. He's kind of a one-man wolf pack out there. You need to pair him up with someone with Dallas, who they believe, Dak at least, that they're close. More on that later. Let's bring in Harry. Harry, your reaction to the mic drop of T. Higgins in Dallas.
So I actually like that move. That's the true definition of Jerry Jones in 2024 saying all in. Now, we haven't seen that from Jerry. Does he have the kahunas to actually pull the strings and bring in a wide receiver that can be the 1B to C.D. Lamb's 1A? That would be very, very good for Dak Prescott and also this offensive system. I still believe that they need to focus on the run game and become a balanced attack. But when you have two guys that can win one-on-one on the outside, it's going to be hell trying to stop that combo.
You see Jeff Darlington there. We'll get with him in a minute. We want to stick with the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. He had this to say about the Super Bowl champion Eagles and how close his team is to catching up with the champs.
With the Eagles and beat them for the most part when we played them. I don't want to say check the record when they're the guys holding the trophy right now. So credit to them. They've earned and they deserved it by all means. But, yeah, very close, especially when you even watch the NFC game, the NFC Championship. And those two teams that we battle against each and every year, a couple of times. And as I said, feel confident about we've gotten the better part each and every time. To see it in such a dominating fashion, credit to them. It's our turn and it's on us.
All right, so gentlemen, not only did he go close, he went very close, Harry. So your thoughts on Dak saying they are very close?
See, that's what happens in Dallas, right? When you have an owner, Jerry Jones, who's consistently talking to
the
media, making headlines, you become delusional just by association and hanging around Jerry Jones. Because that's delusion, exactly what I'm hearing from Dak Prescott. Not the first part, but the last part, saying that they're very, very close. This is a football team, y'all, who was 27th in rushing and 29th in stopping the run. Why is that significant? Well, two teams in your division, the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles, they're second and third in running the football. So how are you close to them if you can't, number one, stop the run, number two, you're not balanced offensively, and you can't run the football? It makes no sense to me.
It's true.
So, Darlington, do you agree or disagree with him being delusional in his comments?
I do not think he's delusional, and I'm not trying to be like just huge support for what Dak Prescott is saying. They have so far to go in terms of this offseason. What I will say is, like, I don't mind. I'm not so offended by these comments from the standpoint that 1 year ago, if you were to talk about a coach that's in question and a quarterback where we're wondering about his potential, we would point to the Philadelphia Eagles. You can come a very long way in a year. And again, what did the Eagles do? They signed Saquon Barkley. They did go all in. The Cowboys need to make moves like that. But I'm not, if Jalen Hurts had said this exact same thing 1 year ago today, we would have been like, he's delusional. They just had an epic meltdown. There is no chance that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl this coming season, and here we are. Teams can change. That is the beauty of the league. I don't find this to be offensive or, quite frankly, delusional, if not maybe slightly whimsical.
The only thing that I would combat with that,
So Jeff,
is the Eagles. Go ahead, Harry.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, Jeff. Like, sometimes you got to throw away your rearview mirror. We're not talking about a year ago. We're talking about right now. And right now, the Washington Commanders are a better football team with a ton of cap space. Right? With a ton of cap space. There's so much more that the Dallas Cowboys have to do. When you look at Odigizua, he's a free agent. DeMarcus Lawrence is a free agent. Zach Martin is a free agent. Their one running back that they did have that had a little bit of success, Rico Dotto, he's a free agent. You also, when you look at this Dallas Cowboys football team from a cap perspective, you're in the bottom half of the NFL. So there are a lot of components that comes to this football team being close to winning an NFL championship. And let me also add this, Jeff. January 1996 was the last time this team even been to an NFC championship game. The Washington Commanders, with a head coach that newly just came in, The Commanders, with a new quarterback and a new general manager, came in and made an NFC Championship game. But one thing we do know is that the general manager in Philadelphia and the general manager in Washington is way different from the general manager in Dallas.
He ain't lying.
Get in there.
Yeah, so look, I do think they're a lot closer to the bottom of the division than the top of the division. And, Jeff, here's where I would push back. When you look at the economics of what we're talking about, Dak Prescott, who's going to be 32, been hurt two of the last 3 years, he's going to be, right now, his cap number is approaching $90 million. He's making $60 million a year. And then when you look at Jaden Daniels, he's at $9 million a year. So, look, they'll reduce Dak Prescott's cap number, but there is a massive difference right now in the economics of those three quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts is roughly at $20 million. So how, in my opinion, how is Dallas going to improve themselves when they just have to get their own house in order, where Jaden Daniels, to me, is younger, better, and roughly $50 million a year cheaper? So when we look at these three teams 6 months from now, I think you're going to see a discernible difference between where Washington and Dallas.
Well, and there's two parts, too. When we were saying this about the Eagles a year ago, there's two big differences there. One, the Eagles were just coming off a Super Bowl the year prior. They lose to the Chiefs. They made the playoffs and had an end-of-season collapse. The Cowboys haven't been close to sniffing that kind of success regular season, off-season, postseason.
So, you know, Dak looks at it, though. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Dak looks at it and says, in the past 2 years, when I'm playing in the game, a big if, because he has had injury issues, they're 3-1 against the Commanders and the Eagles in the last 2 years. So they are 1-3 when he is not playing in the game. No, hold on. We're talking about the Commanders. I was talking to Magic Johnson during one of their games in the playoffs this year when he said, I didn't think that we would get to this point as soon as we did. Washington did not expect the turnaround that they saw this year. The Eagles, we can talk about it, but we fired Nick Sirianni earlier this season. All I'm saying is, I hear you. I understand the uphill climb that the Cowboys have.
Boy,
I'm just saying within their own division, there are two examples of teams that flip the switch in 1 year's time. I don't think it is that egregious or
to think that the Cowboys can.
For the starting quarterback of the team to have that type of optimism.
Like they quick.
Yeah, all I would say is when you need a right guard, a right tackle who gave up 14 sacks, a running back who's a free agent, an interior defensive tackle,
go get him.
Off the ball middle linebacker, where's all that coming from?
Yeah, by the way, Magic Johnson, Darlington, turn around and pick up that name you just dropped. It's literally, it's right behind your chair.
He's just a, you know, he's
Okay. All right, there you go. Okay. Need a right guard and right tackle. Maybe Zach Martin might be coming back. But we'll see where we go from here. All righty, good people, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And T. Higgins is the flavor of the day. Every day, a brand new flavor in your ear. I'm Mark Holmes, and, well, just remember what it's all about.
Morning that involved a lot of very successful people, one of them being Jerry Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Jones speaking about his Dallas Cowboys in an interview with Peter King is fantastic. To Jones, there's no such thing as bad coverage of the Cowboys. Bad coverage makes the Cowboys human. And he is positive his fan base loves the human.
Okay.
Okay?
Good to know.
Yeah. My fan base loves the human that makes us human, and the human that makes us human is the Cowboys and the way we operate. Let me tell you a story, Jones says. To Peter King, warming to this topic, a few years after I bought the team, I'm out in Los Angeles, La La Land, my hometown, having lunch with David Hill. You know David Hill? David Hill, one of Murdoch boys, Australian man.
Okay.
And Ed Gorin. Okay, Ed Gorin, not Australian, actually from Carolina, I do believe, but pretty important, big swinging peckers at Fox Sports. At that time, there were a lot of negative headlines about the Cowboys. Michael Irvin was in the headlines. People were saying the owner's an outlaw. And so that day I told him, listen, I'm going to fucking tighten up the lid on this franchise. We're going to get control of this team. And David Hill, Australian man, one of the heads of Fox Sports, he jumped up and he said,
No! Do not touch my boys. They're television gold. Don't even fucking think about it. The foibles, the soap opera, the issues, they create interest. Yet in the Senior Bowl, I can't see what's next, but free agency, the draft, training camp, we always got something going on. People follow us year in, year out, owner every year. every now and then gets it in the paper. It just adds to the interest. All of it. People love the Cowboys.
Well, you're goddamn right, then. I'm going to force the Cowboys down everybody's throat forever. And that was the moment that the fucking Dallas Cowboys were on primetime television every single weekend. David Hill, Australian man, pretty high up, I believe, in the Murdoch world. Murdoch owns the Fox thing and is also the person being represented basically in Succession.
Yes.
Which adds even more intrigue to the entire conversation. This might be Tom Wambsgate.
Yeah, it's going to be Wambsgate.
But David Hill told Jerry Jones, like, no. You need to have the eyes of a network or the eyes of a business whenever you're looking at the Cowboys, because they're chatted about in every single regard. There was actually a rule that we were told by one of the heads of TV. And I'm just going to say heads of TV because this is one of the people that just created modern sports television.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. You get your topics that you think are big on the day. Then you go ahead and you hit LeBron James. Then you go ahead and hit the Cowboys. Then you go ahead and wrap it up with Tim Tebow. And then, boom, we're back at the top with all the stories. And then guess who's back? Go ahead and hit LeBron James. Go ahead and hit the Cowboys. Tebow's got anything, fucking hit Tebow.
Yep.
And then bang, guess what? You're back at the top. The only average watch time or listen time is 12 minutes. You're able to get everybody. If you have a 2-hour show, guess what? You actually have 8 shows because you have 8 15-minute shows. You have a 3-hour show, you have 12 shows. Look at what you're doing. This is just basically what it is. You do this, the daily hot topics. By the way, if LeBron or the Cowboys or Tim Tebow are part of the headlines of the day, oh boy, this is a good day.
Yeah.
This is a good day.